Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix, and you are listening to the week ahead video for September 10th, 2017. And I want to welcome you guys obviously to today's video. Now we're going to talk about this upcoming week, but before I do that, I've got a couple housekeeping items I need to mention. First of all, if you haven't signed up for ForexAnalytix already, wait. Now, how many people tell you to do that? I'm going to tell you, wait till this week. This week we have a special offer, end of summer offer that's coming. You can listen to the FACE webinar with Dale Pinkert. You can see that link right here where you can just register for free. You just register and listen to his webinar. We'll also be emailing you guys what the offer is too if you've subscribed to our email list. But we will have a end of summer special that we've been planning. It's a big one. So go ahead and wait. But once you do that this week, and once you sign up, okay, make sure you download the mobile app as well. And you can just, on our homepage, you can just go over there and you can get the mobile app from the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store, and make sure you do that so you can have all of these notifications and analysis right at your fingertips on the go when you're mobile. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this week that we've got coming up and what's in store. Okay, if you know what I should do is actually I'm going to go back to our homepage here, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because there's a blog post that I personally just did, the euro pound at risk of a long-term reversal. You can see it right here, and then you take a read of this and kind of get my understanding on where my head is at as far as the pound and the euro go. If you talk about like the euro pound particular currency, it looks like it is setting up for a longer term reversal. Now, if you look at the euro dollar, you would think, well, how is that even possible? I mean, how's the euro dollar and the euro pound going down when the euro is sitting at levels that we haven't seen since 2014? Well, the fact of the matter is the pound is breaking, or is close to breaking, some pretty key consolidation after it's been beat up for a long time. But if you look at the euro is, up towards the 121 level. We're in a nice strong channel, upward sloping channel. Really key supports come in around 118 and a half, depending on how long it takes us to get down there. I got asked by a friend of mine who's like, I really want to buy the euro. And I'm like, I'm going to wait till it gets back down to 118. When it gets down here, I'm going to have a better risk reward on being long. And you can see that in this chart, very, very clear channel that we're following. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to short the euro. So let's make sure that we understand that. I actually tried buying the dollar a couple of times this week, and I got hit pretty hard on the Canadian in particular. The New Zealand dollar didn't do me any favors either. But that was the euro. You can see the euro's going higher. The pound, you can see this is a pretty good example. Just 4-hour chart, you can see how explosive the pound has been, moving out of this range that we're in, and now the pound is approaching some pretty key resistance as well. Now I'm going to take you over to the dollar index itself, and I want to talk a little bit about the dollar and where we're at with the dollar, because as I've told you the last couple of weeks, I have tried to figure out where to buy the dollar. I know for me, I'm waiting for this channel resistance to be broken. Now, if you go back to the euro, that means the euro would have to break below 118 approximately in order for the dollar index to break this real reversal, this trend line here. But that's what really, for me, is going to tell me that the dollar is ready to reverse technically. Now I'm going to actually take you onto a live chart, and I want to go over to the monthly chart for the dollar index. Okay, so the dollar index, where we closed our month above this previous support, and that previous support from over here horizontally, we bounced and we held it. Now, obviously, the very first week of this month, we're getting creamed. All right, the dollar is falling pretty aggressively. You see the dollar just hasn't stopped, and we haven't got above that resistance. But But I'll tell you, if you look at like this weekly and this monthly, basis, you can see we're at a big support zone. This it's highlighted in red here, but you can see these highs here. You can see the spike highs right over here, which is the low end of this range. You can see the spike high here, spike high over here, and spike low how we respected it before at 92, and now we're below it, and I think the market's getting aggressively short the dollar. But one of the risks here with the dollar in particular is I want you to take a look at sentiment. And now this is the DSI, or the Daily Sentiment Index, and I highlighted a couple specifics for you, but you notice the euro's at 93, yen's at 95, Canadian dollars at 93, and the dollar index is at 7. Now, anything above 80 or below 20, you got to start looking at. That means that sentiment is too bullish or too bearish, and it becomes more of a contrarian indicator. When you're above 90 or below 10, now you're talking extreme sentiment, which when sentiment is really extreme, you've got to start looking for reversals. You've got to. And that doesn't mean that, oh, if I'm short, I've got to cover. No, now you got to start thinking, I've got to start protecting my dollar shorts. I've got to start being more proactive on my stops. Maybe it's time to take some profits and try to let the rest ride out for a while, because the DSI and the dollar index could go to 5. It could go to 6. It could go to 4. I'm not saying that it won't, but once it's below 10, yeah, it gets pretty. This means sentiment is very extreme, and I would not be surprised to see the dollar, show a little bit of strength, even if it's just for a day or two, even if it's just for a couple of day bounce. But also if you go over to gold, I tweeted about it. Whoops, that's silver. I tweeted about gold on Thursday night, early Friday morning for some of you in Asia. But we hit this 161% extension, also an 88% retracement. That all was actually highlighted here on ForexAnalytix. If you look at, whoops, I just passed it. If you look at gold, you can see this is the daily, okay, 161% extension there, and there's the 88% retracement of this whole move, 161% extension of basically the summer sell-off. So we've hit a lot of key resistance in precious metals, which means if they do fall for a day or two, maybe that does allow for the dollar to bounce. Now I will go ahead and say once again, I don't have any fundamental reason why the dollar should bounce, but nothing goes up or nothing goes down in a straight line. So even though the dollar's trend is bearish, and I think that bearish trend is here to stay for quite some time, that doesn't mean that we're going to go down every week, and it doesn't mean we're going to go down every day. I'm actually looking for a near-term bounce in the dollar, but I would be more than happy to reestablish my dollar shorts at higher levels, or maybe buy the euro at 118 like we talked about earlier. Those would be trades that I would think about depending on that moment in time and what's happening and what's driving the price action. Of course, it's near impossible for me to just blindly say I'm going to buy here and sell it here without actually taking a look at the landscape and understanding at that moment that we are there why I am or am not going to take that trade. There's a lot to be said for the whys of that particular move. Now, if we're talking about this next week coming up, we do have some data out of the UK, which if you go back and read that euro pound possible short, we've got inflation data. We got some inflation data on Monday with CPI and PPI. Out of the UK on Wednesday morning, we have their jobs data. So we got average earnings index, claimant count change, unemployment rate, those types of things that could move the cable. So keep an eye on that UK data at the beginning of the week. Plus we have Super Thursday on Thursday, of course. We have Super Thursday on Saturday. Yeah, sure. No, it's Super Thursday is on Thursday, and there might be some changes again as far as the MPC members and how they're voting for, whether to stay pat or start reducing quantitative easing. Anyway, that happens on Thursday. So a lot happening in the UK. This week in the US, we also have producer prices. We have, I believe we have CPI on Friday. Oh no, it's on Thursday. And then we have retail sales on Friday. So a lot of data towards the end of the week. And then also we do have Australian employment data Wednesday evening for us here in North America, but it's obviously Thursday morning in Australia. So there's a lot of economic data that's happening this week. And if you are trading the pound, keep an eye at the beginning of the week as we have all that data coming in. Whether you're trading the pound dollar or you're trading the euro pound, just keep that all in mind. And last but not least, I think I actually should talk about the Canadian dollar. I mean, the Canadian dollar has been beat down aggressively, but I've got to point out that we've broken a multi-year trend line, and actually it doesn't show up on this particular chart because I didn't do that analysis, but I'm going to take you over to the longer term chart of the US dollar Canadian, and what you'll see here is this trend line has been broken, and that was major. And this is the one that I actually tried to buy the dollar Canadian as it was just ahead of this trend line. Hey, I was willing to take the risk, but now that we've broken down, you've got to be selling the dollar Canadian on rallies until we get back above this line. So that means it is trading heavy, and you should think about that if you're trading the Euro Canadian, the New Zealand Canadian, which I have been this week. I've been shorting it this week, those types of things. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great trading week. Remember, make sure you listen in to the FACE webinars. The FACE webinars, they are free, and to find out about our special that we have, on our webinar or for ForexAnalytix this week that we're launching, listen to Dale Pinkert and that webinar to find out more details. We will obviously be tweeting about it as well from the ForexAnalytix account. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. If you're listening to this early, if it's the beginning of the week, have a great trading week. My name is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.